There is a myth that only broken, old, or injured horses get sent to slaughter. But that is far from the truth. So how did 3 6-year-old Mustang mares end up in a kill pen in Kansas? This is the story of 3 wild horses who fell victim to the slaughter pipeline. Skydog Sanctuary is a rescue and sanctuary for abused or abandoned wild horses and donkeys who have ended up in terrible situations. A safe haven they can be their wild selves again and not fall victim to cruelty, starvation, or risk of death by slaughter.
The SAFE Act has been a Skydog initiative right from the beginning when we started our sanctuary, simply due to the fact of the numbers of wild horses we were seeing in kill pens, and knowing even at the beginning a few years ago that we were never going to be able to save the endless flood of wild horses that were ending up in kill pens. So we vowed early on to try and save as many as we can, try and raise awareness for the problem, and also try and do something to change the system for wild horses so that they have more protection and that those protections are actually helping them. The SAFE Act would stop horses going across the border to Mexico and Canada and facing the most brutal death imaginable.
Skydog receives photos and videos of wild horses in kill pens every day. A constant battle of who lives or who dies is not an easy task to take on. 2021 was no exception. However, on a cold February morning, Claire had received photos of 2 scrawny 6-year-old mares from the Triple B Wild Horse Range in Nevada. Once wild and free, at the age of 3, they were rounded up by the Bureau of Land Management, the government agency tasked with managing our wild horses and burros. They were then separated from their families and confined in a government holding pen. They were both adopted out to a person who took advantage of the BLM's Adoption Incentive Program, a program that uses taxpayers' money to pay adopters $1,000 for each horse they take. Once titled, they often go straight into the slaughter pipeline. Skydog Sanctuary sounded the alarm on this dangerous program, and the media took notice. Skydog Sanctuary made a decision to save these 2 wild, unhandled horses and decided to take action.
They look so scared. They've still got auction stickers on their butts, so they must have gone through a local auction. Don't worry, we're coming to get you. You're okay.
They posted photographs on their social media to see if followers would help bring these Mustangs to Sanctuary. Hundreds of caring people stepped up and donated for their bail and transport costs from Kansas to Oregon. They were paid for and transported to a quarantine to get them safely out of the kill pen. Hours after they were picked up, they were notified that a 3rd Mustang was left at the kill pen.
So I've just got sent a 3rd one. They said there's only one wild one left. She came with the 2 you got. She's pretty sorry looking though. I saw her today and she was in a corner by herself. I can't leave her behind.
They didn't hesitate to turn around and go get her. After the 3 were united in quarantine, Skydog decided to go pick up these 3 beautiful horses themselves. They wanted to make sure that they had all the care and attention that they needed for the long-distance journey across 5 states. They were then loaded onto the trailer, and the 3 Mustangs were on their way to the sanctuary to heal. "1,500 miles later, from Kansas to Colorado to Wyoming to Utah to Idaho, the 3 wild Mustangs arrived in Oregon. back to health and happiness. First, we let them settle and decompress. They were given unlimited top-quality hay, kindness, and care.
They went from being very shut down and checked out and just half alive to very quickly understanding that they were heading to a better place, and I think that they can tell in the tone of people's voices, the way they're being handled. There's good food, there's people that care around them, and I do think that they can sense that. So just over even those 2 days that we were transporting them, you just saw them not just physically change, saw them emotionally sort of come back to life.
The intake process for kill pen horses is extensive. Skydog has taken in horses with strangles, pneumonia, influenza, and salmonella. Some have had mites, lice, and many injuries from being kicked or bitten by the other horses in the kill pen. Many come in with bad hoofs due to them standing in mud, urine, and manure for weeks, causing them thrush and rotting their soles. Some have been there for months, and their hoofs are so overgrown and long that they can barely walk and need intensive hoof care for a long time. The vet team came out to safely check the health of the horses. They confirmed that Ladybug had a skin infection, ear mites, and her ribs were showing, but she was pregnant.
She's actually she's losing her hair all the way down to her skin here.
Twiggy was depressed and very defensive, but overall in good health.
So we body condition score horses 1 through 9. 1 being extremely emaciated and, life-threateningly thin. 5 being ideal and 9 being obese, and she's a 3. So she's a good probably 100 pounds away from being in an ideal body condition.
Gigi had a body score of 2.
Hi there, Miss Goose. How are ya? You got the skin funk too, don't you? Yeah. You skinny girl.
They all got blood work and were soon approved to be released out into the 9,000 acres of the ranch. Once released, Gigi, Ladybug, and Twiggy started to blossom. They've become part of the herd and got their wild soul back. These 3 will forever represent the thousands of horses who have fallen victim to the slaughter pipeline. But there is hope. The SAFE Act would prevent these incredible animals from shipping across the borders to be killed. It's time to take action.
I'm Claire Staples, the founder of Skydog Sanctuary, and I'm speaking up for these voiceless horses. Let's end this brutal trade once and for all. Please pass the SAFE Act.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Let's show that we're not a cruel nation. Let's pass the SAFE Act.
I'm Jerry Butler. Let's show we have a heart and pass the SAFE Act.
Hi, I'm Leona Lewis. Let's show kindness and compassion towards horses. Please pass the SAFE Act.
I'm Kristen Davis. Please pass the SAFE Act.
I'm Kelly Riley. Pass the SAFE Act.
Hi, this is Josh Groban. Pass the SAFE Act.
Hi, I'm Julianne Huff from Los Angeles. Please pass the SAFE Act.
It's Bailey Chase. I'm asking you to please support the SAFE Act.
I'm Rachel Hunter. Please pass the SAFE Act.
My name is Dougray Scott. Please pass the SAFE Act.
I'm Beth Bears. Please pass the SAFE Act.
Hi, I'm Whitney Cummings. Please pass the SAFE Act.
I'm Nikki Reed. Please pass the SAFE Act.
I'm Kevin McKidd. Please pass the SAFE Act.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Cuoco. Please pass the SAFE Act.
Hey, I'm Zach Braff. Please pass the SAFE Act.
Hi, I'm Ian Summerhalder. Please pass the SAFE Act.
Hi, I'm Charlotte Lawrence. Please pass the SAFE Act.
I'm Ariel Kebbel. Pass the SAFE Act.
I'm Zach Rorig. Please pass the SAFE Act.
Please pass the SAFE Act.
Pass the SAFE Act.
Please pass the SAFE Act.
Please pass the SAFE Act.
Support the SAFE Act.
Pass the SAFE Act.
Pass the SAFE Act.
Pass the SAFE Act.
Please pass the SAFE Act.
Please pass the SAFE Act.
Pass the SAFE Act.
Pass the SAFE Act.
Please pass the SAFE Act.
Where promises are real, pass the SAFE Act.
Sky Dog Sanctuary is behind this, and it sounds like a really cool thing, so pass the SAFE Act.
I'm Georgina Bloomberg, and this is Teddy, and we want to help pass the SAFE Act so that horses like him don't end up going to slaughter.
And now, 3 months later, Ladybug, a Mustang mare saved from slaughter, has given birth to her foal. This wild horse had somewhere along her journey been with a donkey, and out came this beautiful baby mule, the sweetest little soul who would never have experienced life if his pregnant mother and her 2 best friends had been killed. For Firefly and Ladybug, Grey Goose and little Twiggy, who was nearly left behind, please pass the SAFE Act now.